Welcome to the Stoic Golden Tribe, where strength meets wisdom and modern masculinity is reshaped with ancient roots. In today's world, navigating relationships isn't just about charm or appearance. It's about insight, emotional mastery, and understanding the unspoken power dynamics that shape how men and women interact. This video isn't about manipulation, it's about clarity. It's about recognizing the subtle games some women play and learning how to outsmart them, not with ego, but with grounded self-respect and unshakable purpose. A high-value man doesn't chase, he attracts. He doesn't argue, he observes. He doesn't react, he decides. In this video, we'll explore 4 powerful ways high-value men keep their dignity, spot emotional manipulation, and move with silent dominance. You'll walk away with timeless strategies rooted in ancient warrior wisdom and sharpened for today's reality. You'll hear motivational truths, practical real-life examples, and advice that builds you from the inside out. So if you're ready to outgrow games, embrace strength, and rise above emotional traps, it's time to listen like a warrior and learn like a king. Like this video, subscribe if you value growth, and drop a comment to join the tribe. We read every word. Let's build men who can't be played. Chapter 1. Mastering the Power of Silence. Why? Reaction is the trap. A high-value man knows this simple truth. The moment you react emotionally, you give away your power. Think about that. We live in a time where emotions are constantly triggered. Texts left on read, stories posted for attention, compliments thrown just to see how you'll respond. These aren't random actions. Many times they're subtle psychological games meant to provoke one thing, a reaction. Because when you react, you're no longer thinking. You're no longer in control. You become predictable, and predictability is the playground of manipulation. But the high-value man, he moves in silence, not because he's passive, but because he's powerful. The ancient warrior's mindset. In the book The Art of War, Sun Tzu writes, "If your enemy is secure at all points, be prepared for him. If he is superior in strength, evade him. If your opponent is temperamental, seek to irritate him." What does that mean in the context of relationships? It means that when a woman plays emotional games, trying to test your patience, provoke jealousy, or play hot and cold, a high-value man doesn't bite. He doesn't chase explanations. He doesn't try to decode mixed signals. He stays calm, detached, and centered. And that alone disarms the game, because nothing frustrates a manipulator more than someone who refuses to play. Let's get real. You've been talking to a woman for a while. Suddenly she posts a story looking extra good, tagging a location late at night with a cryptic caption. Some people just don't know what they lost. You're tempted to text her, to ask what she means, to check in, to defend yourself, but don't. That's the trap. That's the bait. She's not looking for truth. She's looking for control. A high-value man knows the only power game that wins is silence. Let her wonder why you didn't respond. Let her sit in the confusion of your discipline. Because silence isn't weakness, it's mystery. And mystery holds more value than any emotional outburst ever could. When a man controls his emotions, he becomes unpredictable in the most attractive way. He's not volatile, he's not needy, he's centered. In ancient Stoic philosophy, Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The high-value man doesn't play the emotional tennis match. He refuses to serve back. He knows that silence isn't the absence of communication. It's a message louder than words. Build your silence like a fortress. Now, this doesn't mean you ignore everything. This doesn't mean you suppress your feelings. It means you respond, not react. It means you delay, think, process, and then act if needed, with calm precision. The less you react, the more people realize they can't shake your core. So next time she tests you, maybe with sarcasm, maybe with withdrawal, maybe with comparison, stand still. Let your silence speak. Not because you're weak, but because you're wise. A man who can walk away without a word owns the room. Here's something to tattoo on your mind. You only lose the game when you start playing it. Unknown. The moment you react to emotional games, you're in the arena, but high-value men don't enter arenas they didn't build. They walk above them, observing, deciding, moving on if needed. Outsmarting a woman's game doesn't mean shaming her or calling it out. It means you rise above it with stillness, strength, and self-control. In a world full of noise, the man who masters silence is the most dangerous. Drop a comment. Have you ever outsmarted an emotional game by staying silent? What was the outcome? Chapter 2. Control the frame. Never let her lead the dance. In every interaction, whether romantic, social, or professional, there's something called the frame. The frame is the unspoken agreement about who's leading and who's following, who's setting the tone and who's adapting. High-value men know this. Whoever controls the frame controls the outcome. And in the world of dating and relationships, if you let a woman define the pace, the meaning, and the direction of the connection, you've already lost. You're now reacting to her lead, dancing to her rhythm, and chasing her validation. A high-value man? He leads the dance. Not with force, but with presence, purpose, and certainty. What does frame look like in real life? Imagine this. You start talking to a woman, and she says something like, "I don't want anything serious right now, but we can hang out." Now, a low-value man might accept this. He might think, "At least I get to be close to her. Maybe I can change her mind." But a high-value man sets the frame. He doesn't argue or persuade. He simply says, "That's cool. I'm in a different place. I don't do casual, but good luck out there." Boom. Frame held. No begging, no negotiating, no hoping. Because when you have standards and you're willing to walk away, you automatically become the leader of your life and any relationship you enter. In ancient Roman times, powerful leaders like Julius Caesar understood that control wasn't about dominating others, it was about defining your terms. Caesar once crossed the Rubicon River with his army, knowing it would start a civil war. Why? Because he refused to let Rome define his future. He chose to lead. He controlled the frame, even at great risk. As a man, when you allow yourself to be in wait-and-see mode in relationships, you become a background character in your own story. But when you state your standards, live your truth, and walk away when your values aren't met, you command the same respect Caesar demanded, without ever raising your voice. Let's talk about a modern-day example. A woman you're seeing keeps posting thirst traps. She flirts online with other guys while still texting you sweet things in private. What do? A low-value man complains. He asks her to stop. He seeks reassurance. But a high-value man, he controls the frame. He communicates his values clearly. That's not the type of woman I choose to invest in. Then he walks, and suddenly the entire dynamic shifts. Because you've shown you don't chase chaos, you attract peace. That's power, that's frame. Women crave direction, but they'll test you to see if you truly have it. They'll try to take the lead emotionally, push the boundaries, flip the roles, not because they want control, but because they want to see if you'll stay grounded. It's like a dance. If you hesitate, she has to lead. But if you move with purpose, confidence, and flow, she'll gladly follow. Leading the frame doesn't mean controlling her. It means being so secure in your path that she naturally aligns with it or leaves. Either way, you remain intact. Here's a truth to live by. When you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. As a man, what you tolerate defines your identity. If your boundaries are loose, your energy becomes scattered. If your frame is weak, her respect disappears. But when your life has direction, your mind has clarity, and your purpose is bigger than your desire, you automatically set the tone for every room you enter. To outsmart her emotional games, you don't need manipulation or revenge. You need clarity, confidence, and the courage to define your own reality. Never let her lead the dance. Because the man who owns the frame, he owns the outcome. Drop a comment. Have you ever taken back control of a relationship by setting a firm boundary? What changed afterward? Chapter 3. Don't compete. Replace the scarcity trap. The that destroys men. Let's get brutally honest, most men lose because they believe she's the prize. They believe that if they don't win her over, they'll never find another like her. So they compete, they tolerate, they beg, and in doing so they destroy their self-worth. But the high-value man lives by a different truth. I do not chase, I attract. I do not compete, I replace. And the moment you understand this, everything changes, because competition is for men who believe in scarcity. But kings move with abundance. The illusion of scarcity. Let's say you meet a woman who checks a lot of your boxes. She's beautiful, smart, fun, but emotionally hot and cold. One day she's into you, the next she's distant. You feel uncertain, you want to win her back, win her over, prove you're enough. That's scarcity thinking. You tell yourself, she's special, maybe too good for me, maybe I just need to try harder. But here's the truth, the moment you feel like you need to fight for her attention, the game is already lost because you've given her the upper hand, and now you're dancing to her rhythm. The ancient Stoics, like Epictetus, taught that the only true loss is the loss of self. Everything else, people, praise, beauty, attention, it's all external. He who is not contented with what he has would not be contented with what he would like to have. Socrates, that woman you think is one of a kind, there are millions more. The world is abundant, and the man who believes in abundance is never desperate. You don't compete to win her back. You let her go and replace her, peaceably if needed, with someone more aligned with your values. You ever notice how the guy she obsesses over is never the one texting paragraphs, never the one begging to understand why she's being distant? It's always the guy who could walk away at any moment, the one who never competed because he believed deeply in his own worth. That's the difference. One man lives in fear of losing her. The other knows he never loses. He either keeps her or he replaces her. Don't play the game, exit the arena. Here's the real secret. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone who can't already see your value. And when a woman senses that you'll tolerate disrespect, breadcrumbs, or emotional inconsistency just to keep her, you lose attraction and respect in one shot. But when she knows that you have options, not because you're faking it, but because you're grounded in purpose, you become magnetic. A woman's emotional game can only exist if you play it. But the man who has the courage to say, I don't chase energy that confuses me, he can't be manipulated. Scarcity mindset says, she's hard to find, I'll never meet another like her. Abundance mindset says, she was great, but the world is full of women aligned with my path. One mindset traps you, the other sets you free. And here's what most men don't realize. Women can feel when you're afraid to lose them. That fear, it weakens your energy, your frame, your masculinity. But the man who isn't afraid to walk away, he's respected, even when he's no longer present. If you don't believe you are the prize, you'll compete for someone who isn't. Unknown. Don't fall for the lie that you're not good enough, not handsome enough, not rich enough. Your value isn't in how you compete. Your value is in how you choose. And a high-value man chooses peace over performance. You're not here to prove yourself. You're not here to win over people who test you. You're here to build, lead, and attract, not compete. Remember, don't compete, replace. Let the scarcity trap destroy other men, not you. Drop a comment. Have you ever walked away from someone who made you feel replaceable and found peace or better love afterward? Chapter 4, Emotional Detachment, the final weapon of the high-value man. There is one trait that separates the high-value man from the average: emotional detachment. Not coldness, not numbness, but the calm, inner stillness of a man who feels deeply but isn't ruled by emotion. A man who can love but never lose himself in the process. A man who can care but still walk away if respect is gone. He who controls his emotions controls the situation. Unknown, this is the final weapon, because once you master emotional detachment, you become unshakable, unplayable, untouchable. What is emotional detachment, really? Emotional detachment isn't about being heartless, it's about being whole. It means you don't depend on her text to feel confident. You don't need her validation to feel enough. You don't obsess over her mood, her attention, or her response, because your world doesn't revolve around her. It revolves around your purpose. This is what makes the high-value man so powerful. He doesn't need to hold on. He can love without attachment. And that makes him dangerously attractive and deeply respected. The Stoics taught this truth over 2,000 years ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." This is emotional detachment in its purest form. Your inner world is your kingdom. No one enters without your permission, not her games, not her confusion, not her drama. You remain calm, not because you don't care, but because you refuse to fall for emotional chaos. A high-value man leads with logic, shields with patience, and walks with peace. Every high-value man faces this moment. She pulls away, she tests you, she ignores your messages, she says she needs space. Now the average man spirals. He overthinks, he panics, he tries to fix it, he texts paragraphs, he begs. But the high-value man, he accepts it. He doesn't fight to stay where he's no longer valued. He says, "If you need space, take all the time you want, but don't expect me to wait in silence." And with that, he walks. Not out of ego, but out of clarity. This emotional detachment sends a louder message than any argument could. It says, "I care, but I won't beg. I love, but I won't suffer for it." You ever hear about the guy she couldn't forget? It's not the one who chased, it's the one who loved her deeply, gave her the best of himself, and then walked away with peace when she played games. That guy haunts her memory. Because emotional detachment is a mirror. It reflects her actions back to her without words. While the average man is still checking her story, the high-value man is building his legacy. And that silence, that unbothered focus, it makes her question everything. Men who attach too quickly suffer the most because their peace lives in her hands. But men who develop detachment, they become free. Free from manipulation, free from desperation, free from anxiety. And that freedom, it makes your presence more rare, your time more valuable, your love more sacred. When you detach, your heart remains clean. You don't need revenge, you don't need games, you just move forward, unshaken, undistracted, and unavailable to women who play small. Detach with love. Move in silence. Elevate in peace. Unknown, your power isn't in how loud you get, it's in how calm you remain. Because real masculinity isn't reactive, it's responsive, selective, and intentional. The final weapon of the high-value man is emotional detachment, not to protect him from love, but to protect him from losing himself in love. So let her play the game, let her test you, let her try to trigger you. You remain centered, calm, focused, because you are the storm she never saw coming and the peace she never learned to hold. Drop a comment. What's one way emotional detachment has helped you take back your power?